10 ancient civilizations that appeared earliest in human history. Ancient Egypt. At the top of the list of the 15 earliest ancient civilizations is Ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt officially unified Upper and Lower Egypt with the first pharaoh, Narmer, rising to power around 3100 BCE. The ancient Egyptian territory included a vast region of northeast Africa along the Nile River to the Mediterranean. The fertile plains of the Nile provided favorable conditions for the development of agriculture, marking a significant advancement in human societal development. The history of ancient Egypt includes major periods: the early dynastic period, 3100–2686 BCE, Old Kingdom to 686 to 181 BCE. First Intermediate Period to 18–12055 BCE, Middle Kingdom 2055 to 1650 BCE. Second Intermediate Period 1650 to 1550 BCE, New Kingdom 1550 to 1069 BCE. Third Intermediate Period 1069 to 664 BCE, and the Late Period 664 to 332 BCE. Ancient Egypt reached its zenith of power, strength, and culture during the New Kingdom, particularly in the Ramesside period 1186–1077 BCE. Ancient Egypt achieved significant cultural milestones, including architectural marvels like the pyramids, the Sphinx, and temples, as well as pioneering achievements in early mathematics, rudimentary medical practices, mummification techniques, papermaking, and the world's first glass production. The most famous is the Giza Pyramid of Pharaoh Khufu, recognized by UNESCO as one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Ancient India. Scientists have identified the cradle of Asia as ancient India in the Indus River Valley around 3000 BCE. Prehistoric humans appeared in India between 200,000 and 500,000 years ago, with modern humans settling in India around 12,000 years ago at the end of the Ice Age. Ancient Indian civilization evolved into a nation around 3000 BCE, characterized by the construction of cities with baked clay, an advanced drainage system, and multi-story buildings. The history of ancient India underwent numerous events, overlapping periods, including the significant arrival of the Aryans from the north, leading to the Vedic period in ancient India. The peak of this culture was the Vedas, the oldest surviving written texts, dating back to 1500 BCE. Around 625 BCE, a great Indian figure was born, Siddhartha Gautama, also known as Buddha, the founder of Buddhism. Ancient India had a rich and powerful religious and cultural heritage, especially with profound influences, notably Buddhism, spreading from South Asia to East Asia. Crete Island. Crete is considered the cradle of ancient Greece, the first land of advanced Western civilization and the largest and most populous island in Greece. The civilization on Crete appeared very early, flourishing under the Minoan civilization in 2700 BCE before spreading to ancient Greece, renowned for their pioneering role and vibrant development in maritime activities due to their strategic location at the crossroads of trade routes. Due to its primitive nature and limited later documentation, the history of Crete has become stories in Greek mythology, including tales of King Minos, Theseus, and the Minotaur recounted by Homer, the greatest epic poet of ancient Greece. Around the 8th century BCE, later, Crete became a part of ancient Greece. Akkadian Empire. The Akkadian Empire was the first Semitic-speaking ancient nation, later mentioned in the Bible, in the 3rd millennium BCE. The Sumerians and Akkadians' cultural interchange occurred, gradually replacing Sumerian culture. The Akkadian Empire emerged around 2334 BCE and lasted until about 2154 BCE, located in the Tigris-Euphrates region. The capital of the Akkadian Empire spans to modern-day countries, Syria and Iraq, extending its conquests to Bahrain, Oman, and part of present-day Saudi Arabia. The Akkadian Empire marked the end of city-states in the Tigris-Euphrates region, ushering in the first national era in human history, founded by the conquests of King Sargon, and ending with King Shutural. The Akkadian Empire also served as the precursor to other famous ancient empires, like Assyria and Babylon. Xia Dynasty, China. Around 2100 BCE, the first ancient nation emerged in East Asia, known as the Xia Dynasty. In the 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors period of China, Xia, Shang, Zhou. The Xia Dynasty was the first dynasty in central China. According to the records of the Grand Historian by Sima Jin, originally one of the ancient tribes in central China, the Xia overcame other tribes to establish a nation. Historical records indicate that the Xia tribe operated in the Tongsun Mountain region, coinciding with a challenging period for central China due to floods from major rivers. The leader of the Xia tribe at that time was Yu the Great, the son of Gun, who played a significant role in water control, strengthening the Xia tribe's position among the people. After defeating conflicting tribes, the Xia tribe became the Xia Dynasty, establishing the first state in China. During the Xia Dynasty, China had the 3 august ones and 5 emperors, including 3 sovereigns with the titles of Heavenly Emperor, Earthly Emperor, and Human Emperor, and 5 emperors as successors with the titles Emperor, Chuanha, Dikuo, Dinao, Dithuan, and Daivu. The era of feudalism in China began with the Xia Dynasty, in the 3 august ones and 5 emperors period, followed by the Spring and Autumn period and the Warring States period, then the Qin Dynasty, and later the Han Dynasty. After the decline of the Han Dynasty, the 3 kingdoms emerged, followed by the Jin, Wei, Liang, Chen period, and then the Southern and Northern dynasties. The Sui Dynasty later unified China, but was succeeded by the Tang Dynasty. After the fall of the Tang Dynasty, the era of the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms ensued. The Song Dynasty followed, which later faced challenges from the Mongols, leading to the Yuan Dynasty. The Ming Dynasty overthrew the Yuan Dynasty, only to be replaced by the Monkeys, establishing the Qing Dynasty. This encompasses the entire period of China's specialized feudal history. Assyrian Empire. When discussing the 15 earliest ancient civilizations in human history, the Assyrian Empire cannot be overlooked, one of the powerful forces in ancient times. The Assyrian Empire inherited a vast area in Mesopotamia after the fall of the Akkadian Empire. Under the Akkadian Empire, Assyria was just a small vassal state. After the collapse of the Akkadian Empire, Assyria gradually grew in strength, competing with other powers, and became the Assyrian Empire around 2000 BCE. The center of the Assyrian Empire was located at the upper Tigris River, in northern Mesopotamia, present-day northern Iraq. The fall of the Akkadian Empire led to various emerging powers, including the Assyrian Empire, the Hittite Empire, and ancient Babylon, from the 19th century BCE. The Assyrian Empire expanded its borders, competing with the Hittite Empire in the north and ancient Babylon in the south. The peak of the Assyrian Empire was under the rule of King Shamshiad at the first 1813 to 1791 BCE and ended in 1756 BCE, when the Assyrian Empire was invaded and ruled by ancient Babylon. Before the Assyrian Empire revived, returning to conquer and dominate Babylon 911 to 609 BCE. This was the period of greatest prosperity for the Assyrian Empire, when it extended its influence across Mesopotamia, reaching into Anatolia and the Mediterranean. However, the vast territory with many provinces led to the downfall of the Assyrian Empire, unable to control and defeated by its provinces, including Babylon, Scythia, Persia, and Media. Ancient Babylon. According to chronicles, Babylon was originally a fortress under the Akkadian Empire. After the collapse of the Akkadian Empire, the lands of the Akkadian Empire gradually became other ancient civilizations, including ancient Babylon, the Assyrian Empire, and the Hittite Empire. The first dynasty of ancient Babylon began in 1894 BCE, when the Assyrian Empire shifted its invasion towards Anatolia, and ancient Babylon emerged independently. Ancient Babylon, located in present-day Arab territory, -185 kilometers south of modern Baghdad in Iraq, was the world's largest city from 1770 to 1670 BCE. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon, a UNESCO-listed wonder, made the city famous. Ancient Babylon experienced two powerful periods. The first period 1770–1670 BCE, when ancient Babylon conquered both the Assyrian Empire, and the second period, after a period of being invaded by the Assyrian Empire. Ancient Babylon revived in the 612 to 550 BCE period, also known as the Neo-Babylonian period, under the rule of King Nebuchadnezzar II of Neo-Babylon. Ancient Babylon became extremely powerful, invading Jerusalem and taking many Jews as slaves. In 539 BCE, ancient Babylon was overthrown by the founder of the Persian Empire, Cyrus the Great, and from then on, ancient Babylon completely collapsed. Hittite Empire. One of the three empires dividing Mesopotamia. After the fall of the Akkadian Empire was the Hittite Empire. The Hittite Empire began to form around 1600 BCE in a northern Mesopotamia region, which is now part of modern-day Turkey, Syria, and Lebanon. Little is known about the Hittites, except for references in the Bible and scattered documents from Egypt until the late 19th century, when excavations began at Bogaskoy-Bogaskale, present-day Turkey, the site of Hattusa, the capital of the Hittite Empire. The peak of the Hittite Empire was around the 14th century BCE, when it engaged in many wars with Egypt and the Assyrian Empire to control the Middle East. Unlike Babylon and the Assyrian Empire, the Hittite Empire did not last long and collapsed in 1178 BCE, disintegrating into independent cities before being completely annexed by the Assyrian Empire. Later, Ancient Carthage. Ancient Carthage, founded around 814 BCE, also known as the Carthaginian Kingdom, was situated along the North African coastline, stretching into the regions of present-day France and Spain, which would later become part of the Roman Empire. During its time, ancient Carthage was a nation in conflict with ancient Greece and the later Roman Empire. Ancient Carthage valiantly battled with the Roman Empire, resulting in 3 Punic Wars. Romans referred to the Carthaginians as Punic, because they were descendants of the Phoenician people. At the end of the Third War, after over a century and the deaths of hundreds of thousands of soldiers on both sides, the Roman Empire conquered ancient Carthage and razed the city. The era of ancient Carthage came to an end in the year. Ancient Greece. Originating from the island of Crete, the ancient European civilization began to spread across the Mediterranean region and flourished, giving rise to ancient Greece. Ancient Greece is one of the most exemplary civilizations among the 15 earliest ancient civilizations in human history. Around 1200 BCE, city-states started to emerge, but it was not until around 800 BCE that ancient Greece began to thrive. The city of Athens held a pivotal position, and was considered the capital of ancient Greece. Another renowned city-state was Sparta, known for its formidable warriors. Ancient Greek civilization flourished with numerous architectural and sculptural achievements and was the birthplace of the Olympic Games, now the largest sporting event globally. When mentioning ancient Greece, one cannot overlook Greek mythology, including folklore about ancient Greek gods, kings, and heroes passed down by the people, and the epic poet Homer. Homer's two most significant works, the Iliad and the Odyssey, narrate the saga of the Greek coalition led by King Agamemnon's assault on Troy, and the journey back home of the hero Odysseus after years of war in Troy. These works have become classics, pioneering works in world literature. Ancient Greece is also renowned as the birthplace of Western philosophy and mathematics, with many philosophers and mathematicians such as Euclid, Archimedes, Thales, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. They are celebrated as ancient philosophers or mathematicians, considered pioneers in the fields of mathematics and philosophy. Ancient Greece was the most powerful nation in the Mediterranean region at the time. Its territory extended from the southern Black Sea to cover all of Central Europe, reaching Eastern Europe and bordering Anatolia. However, ancient Greece also had to confront other powerful forces of the time, notably the invasion by the Persian Empire led by Emperor Xerxes. With the resistance of Sparta under the command of Leonidas I, Athens managed to retreat before being attacked by the Persian Empire. Later, ancient Greece launched a spectacular counterattack, defeating the Persian Empire both on islands and mainland territories to reclaim lost lands. Ancient Greece fell under the rule of Alexander the Great, who headed the Macedonian Empire. Alexander the Great was one of the greatest military leaders in history, transforming the Macedonian Empire into a formidable power by annexing both ancient Greece and the Persian and Egyptian empires. Subsequently, ancient Greece became part of the Roman Empire when the Roman Empire became the dominant force in Europe.